On Rye, Chapter 46. Times were still hard. Nobody was any more surprised than I when Mears Starbuck phoned and asked me to report to work the next Monday. I'd gone all around town putting dozens of applications. There was nothing else to do. I didn't want a job, but I didn't want to live with my parents either. Mears Starbuck must have had thousands of applications on hand. I couldn't believe they had chosen me. It was a department store with branches in many cities. The next Monday, there I was walking to work with my lunch in a brown paper bag. The department store was only a few blocks away from my former high school. I still didn't understand why I'd been selected. After filling out the application, the interview had lasted only a few minutes. I must have given all the right answers. First paycheck I get, I thought, I'm going to get myself a room near the downtown LA Public Library. As I walked along, I didn't feel so alone, and I wasn't. I noticed a starving mongrel dog following me. The poor creature was terribly thin. I could see his ribs poking through his skin. Most of his fur had fallen off. What remained clung in dry, twisted patches. The dog was beaten, cowed, deserted, frightened, a victim of Homo sapiens. I stopped and knelt, put out my hand. He backed off. "Come here, fellow. I'm your friend. Come on, come on." He came closer. He had such sad eyes. "What have they done to you, boy?" He came still closer, creeping along the sidewalk, trembling, wagging his tail quite rapidly. Then he leaped at me. He was large, what was left of him. His forelegs pushed me backwards, and I was flat on the sidewalk, and he was licking my face, mouth, ears, forehead, everywhere. I pushed him up, got up, and wiped my face. "Easy now. You need something to eat. Food." I reached into my bag and took out a sandwich. I unwrapped it and broke off a portion. "Some for you and some for me, old boy." I put his part of the sandwich on the sidewalk. He came up, sniffed at it, then walked off, slinking, staring back at me over his shoulder as he walked down the street away from me. "Hey, wait, buddy. That was peanut butter. Come here. Have some bologna." "Hey, boy, come here. Come back." The dog approached again, cautiously. I found the bologna sandwich, ripped off a chunk, wiped the cheap watery mustard off, and placed it on the sidewalk. The dog walked up to the bit of sandwich, put his nose to it, sniffed, then turned and walked off. This time he didn't look back. He accelerated down the street. No wonder I'd been depressed all my life. I wasn't getting proper nourishment. I walked on towards the department store. It was the same street I had walked along to go to high school. I arrived. I found the employee's entrance, pushed the door open, and walked in. I went from bright sunlight into semi-darkness. As my eyes adjusted, I could make out a man standing several feet in front of me. Half his left ear had been sliced off at some point in the past. He was a tall, very thin man with needlepoint gray pupils centered in otherwise colorless eyes. A very tall, thin man, right above his belt, sticking out over his belt suddenly, was a sad and hideous and strange potbelly. All his fat had settled there, while the remainder of him had wasted away. "I'm Superintendent Ferris," he said. "I presume that you're Mr. Chinaski?" "Yes, sir." "You're 5 minutes late." "I was delayed by, well, I stopped to try to feed a starving dog," I grinned. "That's one of the lousiest excuses I've ever heard, and I've been here 35 years. Couldn't you come up with a better one than that?" "I'm just starting, Mr. Ferris." "And you're almost finished. Now," he pointed. "The time clock is over there, and the card rack is over there. Find your card and punch in." I found my card. Henry Chinaski, employee number 68754. Then I walked up to the time clock, but I didn't know what to do. Ferris walked over and stood behind me, staring at the time clock. "You're now 6 minutes late. When you're 10 minutes late, we dock you an hour." "I guess it's better to be an hour late." "Don't be funny. If I want a comedian, I'd listen to Jack Benny. If you're an hour late, you're docked your whole goddamn job." "I'm sorry, but I don't know how to use a time clock. I mean, how do I punch in?" Ferris grabbed the card out of my hand. He pointed at it. "See this slot?" "Yeah." "What?" "I mean, yes." "Okay, that slot is for the first day of the week, today." "Ah, you slip the time card in here like this." He slipped it in, then pulled it out. "Then when your time card is in there, you hit this lever." Ferris hit the lever, but the time card wasn't in there. "I understand. Let's begin." "No, wait." He held the time card in front of me. "Now when you punch out for lunch, you hit this slot." "Yes, I understand." "Then when you punch back in, you hit the next slot. Lunch is 30 minutes. 30 minutes, I've got it. Now when you punch out, you hit the last slot. That's 4 punches a day. Then you go home or to your room or wherever, sleep, come back, and hit it 4 more times each working day until you get fired, quit, die, or retire. I've got it. And I want you to know that you've delayed my indoctrination speech to our new employees, of which you, at the moment, are one. I'm in charge here. My word is law, and your wishes mean nothing. If I dislike anything about you, the way you tie your shoes, comb your hair, or fart, you're back in the streets. Get it? "Yes, sir." The young girl came flouncing in, running on her high heels, young brown hair flowing behind her. She was dressed in a tight red dress. Her lips were large and expressive with excessive lipstick. She theatrically pulled her card out of the rack, punched in, and breathing with minor excitement, she put her card back in the rack. She glanced over at Ferris. "Hi, Eddie. Hi, Diana." Diana was obviously a salesgirl. Ferris walked over to her. They stood talking. I couldn't hear the conversation, but I could hear them laughing. Then they broke off. Diana walked over and waited for the elevator to take her to work. Ferris walked back toward me, holding my new time card. "I'll punch in now, Mr. Ferris," I told him. "I'll do it for you. I want to start you out right." Ferris inserted my time card into the clock and stood there. He waited, I heard the clock tick, then he hit it. He put my card in the rack. "How late was I, Mr. Ferris?" 10 minutes. Now follow me." I followed along behind him. I saw the group waiting. 4 men and 3 women. They were all old. They all seemed to have salivary problems. Little clumps of spittle had formed at the corners of their mouths. The spittle had dried and turned white, and then had been coated by new, wet spittle. Some of them were too thin, others too fat. Some were nearsighted, others trembled. One old fellow in a brightly colored shirt had a hump on his back. They all smelled and coughed, puffing at cigarettes. Then I got it, the message. Mere Starbuck was looking for stayers. The company didn't care for employee turnover, although these new recruits obviously weren't going anywhere but to the grave. Until then, they'd remain grateful and loyal employees, and I'd been chosen to work alongside them. The lady in the employment office had evaluated me as belonging to this pathetic group of losers. What would the guys in high school think if they saw me? Me, one of the toughest guys in the graduating class. I walked over and stood with my group. Ferris sat on a table facing us. A shaft of light fell upon him from an overhead transom. He inhaled his cigarette and smiled at us. "Welcome to Mere Starbuck." And then he seemed to fall into a reverie. Perhaps he was thinking about when he had first joined the department store 35 years ago. He blew a few smoke rings and watched them rise into the air. His half-sliced ear looked impressive in the light from above. The guy next to me, a little pretzel man, knifed his sharp little elbow into my side. He was one of those individuals whose glasses always seemed ready to fall off. He was uglier than I was. "Hi," he whispered. "I'm Mukes. Odell Mukes." "Hello, Mukes." "Listen, kid, after work, let's you and me make the bars. Maybe we can pick up some girls." "I can't, Mukes." "Afraid of girls?" "It's my brother. He's sick. I've got to watch over him." "Sick?" "Worse. Cancer. He has to piss through a tube into the bottle strapped to his leg." Then Ferris began again. "Your starting salary is 44.5 cents an hour. We are non-union here. Management believes that what is fair for the company is fair for you. We are like a family, dedicated to serve and to profit. You will each receive a 10% discount on all merchandise you purchase from Senior Starbuck." "Oh, boy," Mukes said in a loud voice. "Yes, Mr. Mukes, it's a good deal. You take care of us, we'll take care of you." I could stay with Mere Starbuck for 47 years, I thought. I could live with a crazy girlfriend, get my left ear sliced off, and maybe inherit Ferris's job when he retired. Ferris talked about which holidays we could look forward to, and then the speech was over. We were issued our smocks and our lockers, and then we were directed to the underground storage facilities. Ferris worked down there, too. He manned the phones. Whenever he answered the phone, he would hold to his sliced left ear with his left hand and clamp his right hand under his left armpit. "Yes, yes, yes. Coming right up. Janaski." "Yes, sir. Lingerie department." "Maybe pick up the order pad, list items needed, and how many of each." He never did this while on the phone, always afterward. "Locate these items, deliver them to the lingerie department, obtain a signature and return." His speech never varied. My first delivery was to lingerie. I located the items, placed them in my little green cart with its 4 rubber wheels, and pushed it toward the elevator. The elevator was at an upper floor, and I pressed the button and waited. After some time, I could see the bottom of the elevator as it came down. It was very slow. Then it was at basement level. The doors opened, and Albino with one eye stood at the controls. Jesus. He looked at me. "New guy, huh?" he asked. "Yeah." "What do you think of Ferris?" "I think he's a great guy." They probably lived together in the same room and took turns manning the hot plate. "I can't take you up." "Why not?" "I gotta take a shit." He left the elevator and walked off. Then I stood in my smock. This was the way things usually worked. You were a governor or a garbage man. You were a tightrope walker or a bank robber. You were a dentist or a fruit picker. You were this or you were that. You wanted to do a good job. You manned your station, then you stood and waited for some asshole. Stood there in my smock next to my green cart while the elevator man took a shit. It came to me then, clearly, why the rich going boys and girls were always laughing. They knew. The albino returned. "It was great. I feel 30 pounds lighter." "Good. Can we go now?" He closed the doors and we rose to the sales floor. He opened the doors. "Good luck," said the albino. I pushed my green cart down through the aisles looking for the lingerie department, and Miss Meadows. Miss Meadows was waiting. She was slender and classy looking. She looked like a model. Her arms were folded. As I approached her, I noticed her eyes. They were an emerald green. There was depth and knowledge there. I should know somebody like that. Such eyes, such class. Stopped my cart in front of her counter. "Hello, Miss Meadows," I smiled. "Where the hell have you been?" she asked. "It just took this long." "Do you realize I have customers waiting? Do you realize I'm attempting to run an efficient department here?" Sales clerks got 10 cents an hour more than we did, plus commissions. I was to discover that they never spoke to us in a friendly way. Male or female, the clerks were the same. They took any familiarity as an affront. "I've got a good mind to phone Mr. Ferris." "I'll do better next time, Miss Meadows." I placed the goods on her counter and then handed her the form to sign. She scratched her signature furiously on the paper, then instead of handing it back to me, she threw it into my green card. Christ, I don't know where they find people like you. Pushed my card over to the elevator, hit the button, and waited. The doors opened and I rolled on in. How'd it go, the albino asked me. I feel 30 pounds heavier, I told him. He grinned, the doors closed, and we descended. Over dinner that night, my mother said, Henry, I'm so proud of you that you have a job. I didn't answer. My father said, well, aren't you glad to have a job? Yeah. Yeah? Is that all you can say? Do you realize how many men are unemployed in this nation now? Plenty, I guess. And you should be grateful. Look, can't we just eat our food? You should be grateful for your food, too. Do you know how much this meal cost? I shoved my plate away. Shit, I can't eat this stuff. I got up and walked to my bedroom. Got a good mind to come back there and teach you what is what. I stopped. I'll be waiting, old man. Then I walked away. I went in and waited, but I knew he wasn't coming. I set the alarm to get ready for Muir's Starbuck. It was only 7:30 p.m., but I undressed and went to bed. I switched off the light and was in the dark. There's nothing else to do, nowhere to go. My parents would soon be in bed with the lights out. My father liked the slogan, early to bed and early to rise makes a man healthy, wealthy, and wise. But I hadn't done any of that for him. I decided that I might try to reverse the process. I couldn't sleep. Maybe if I masturbate to Miss Meadows? Too cheap. I wallowed there in the dark, waiting for something.